You collect trophies. Little statues of past victories sitting on a dusty shelf in the back of your mind. You polished them once. You pointed to them with pride. That marathon medal, that sales award, that moment you finally hit that number on the scale. Fleeting flashes of light in a long, dim hallway. You called them goals. You thought they were the destination. That's the first lie you sold yourself. Goals are gravestones. They mark where a battle was won, but the war rages on. And you're standing in the graveyard, admiring the epitaphs, while the real combatants are miles ahead, fortifying new ground. The purpose of setting a goal is to have something to shatter. It's the finish line you sprint through without ever slowing down. It's a temporary target in the kill box of your life. But the game isn't about collecting targets. The game is about building the weapon that never stops firing. The purpose of building systems is to continue playing the game. It is the engine of perpetual war you build inside your soul. It's the brutal, unsexy, relentless machinery of daily execution. The 4 a.m. alarm is not a goal. It's a cog in the machine. The hour of deliberate practice is not a trophy. It's a piston firing. The rejection of comfort is not an achievement. It's the fuel that the inferno consumes. Stop celebrating the kill. Start glorifying the hunt. Your system is your operational rhythm. It's the drumbeat you march to when your heart wants to collapse. It's the sacred geometry of your discipline. Goals make you a tourist in the land of excellence. Systems make you the goddamn king of the territory, a sovereign ruler who expands his empire one sunrise at a time. Build your machinery, soldier. Forge it from your own sweat and blood. Once that engine is running, the trophies become inevitable byproducts. They become the spent shells clinking on the floor, forgotten as you reload for the next engagement. The glory takes care of itself.
So you built a system, you laid the first brick, and then it rained. You faltered, you stumbled, you hit snooze, you ate the poison, you let the distraction win just once. An accident, a statistical anomaly, a momentary lapse in signal. That's the comforting whisper you tell yourself. But what happens the next time? What happens when the temptation comes knocking again and you hesitate for just a second too long? Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new habit. The first stumble is a crack in the dam. The second one is the first surge of the flood. With that second failure, you haven't just made a mistake, you've laid the cornerstone for a new identity. You've begun writing the silent subconscious contract that says, this is acceptable. You have started to normalize weakness. You are now in the business of building a monument to your own defeat. Every time you give in twice, you are programming a new slave master into your own code. You are teaching your mind that your commands are optional, that your resolutions are merely suggestions. The second miss is the most dangerous moment in your entire existence because it's where the narrative of who you are begins to rot from the inside out. It's the point where I will becomes I'll try, and I must becomes maybe tomorrow. Do you understand the gravity of this? Don't you dare brush off that second stumble. Don't you dare call it just another bad day. It is not a misstep. It is an act of treason against your future self. You must see it for what it is, the enemy digging a trench in the soil of your soul. Your job is not to step over that trench. Your job is to fill it with concrete. Your job is to obliterate the very possibility of a third misstep. You must attack that second failure with a ferocity that terrifies the part of you that wants to be weak. You crush it, you annihilate it, you burn the memory of it as a warning so that the specter of that failure never dares to haunt you again. One miss is a lesson. Two is a declaration of surrender. Do not sign that treaty.
This isn't about a singular summit.
This isn't about one heroic charge up the hill to plant a flag and declare victory. That's a fantasy for children. This is about the grinding, permanent ascent. This is a siege with no end. The secret to getting results that last is to never stop making improvements. The moment you think you've arrived, you've started to die. Complacency is the sweet-tasting sedative that weakness offers you after a small victory. It whispers, "You've done enough? You're better than them. Rest now." And as you rest, the world, your enemies, your own inner decay, they don't stop. They sharpen their blades while you admire your own. You don't reach a peak and set up camp. There is no peak. There is only the next climb. The version of you that conquered yesterday's mountain is not strong enough to conquer tomorrow's. That version is already obsolete. So you get up and you sharpen the blade. How? You add one more rep. You read one more page. You wake up 1 minute earlier. You endure one more second of the ice bath. You make one more call. Every single day is a chance to make your edge bloodier. It's a mandate to carve a higher summit. This is the doctrine of Kaizen, forged in hellfire. It is the philosophy of constant, unending, excruciating improvement. It's not about grand, sweeping changes. It's about the 1,000 tiny, almost invisible upgrades that compound into an unstoppable force. You find the friction, the inefficiency, the slight hesitation in your system, and you sand it down until it's frictionless. You find a strength, and you push on it until it becomes a weapon of terrifying power.
Look at this world. Look at the decay. It is filled with has-beens and one-hit wonders who grew fat and slow on yesterday's success. They believed their own hype. They got comfortable. They stopped sharpening the blade. And now, they are dull, rusted, forgotten relics. You must develop a psychotic intolerance for your own plateau. The second you stop getting better, you have begun to get worse. There is no middle ground. There is no stasis. There is only growth or decay. Choose one. What happens when you're not the biggest, not the fastest, not the most naturally gifted in the room? The world tells you that you've already lost, but the world is a fool. When you can't win by being better, you can win by being different. If you are outmatched in brute force, then you must become a phantom. You must become a predator that hunts with cunning, not just claws. You must innovate your grind. You must become so creative in your discipline, so unorthodox in your execution, that they cannot comprehend your strategy. They're playing chess. You're flipping the entire goddamn board over and setting a new set of rules. While they follow the well-worn path, you carve a new one through the sheer rock face. While they are running in a straight line, you are zigzagging with such calculated chaos that their predictive models break down. Your difference is your armor. Your unpredictability is your sharpest spear. Don't just lift the weight. Find a new way to lift it. Don't just run the miles. Run them backward. Run them in the storm. Run them when every instinct screams for shelter. Don't just do the work. Reinvent the work. Question the method. Deconstruct it. Rebuild it into something more lethal, more efficient, something that is uniquely yours. Let your discipline be a form of savage creativity. This isn't about finding a shortcut. It's about engineering a more devastating path. Make your patterns so unique they are impossible to copy. Outthink the herd until your every move is an enigma. Dominate the fringes. Own the margins. When they finally turn to face you, they won't even know what weapon you're holding until it's too late. You hear the excuses. They're a constant, pathetic drone in the background noise of modern life. I don't have time. A lie. The most cowardly, pervasive lie ever conceived. A lack of direction, not a lack of time, is the problem. We all have 24-hour days. The universe granted you no more and no less than the titans and the tyrants, the saviors and the scoundrels who came before you. 24 hours, 1,440 minutes, 86,400 seconds. That is the raw,
untamable element you are given each day at the stroke of midnight. It is the great equalizer. The billionaire and the beggar both bleed the same 24. So don't you dare point your finger at the clock on the wall and blame it for your softness. Don't you dare use it as a shield to hide your indecision, your laziness, your profound lack of purpose. Your day isn't chaotic because it's short. It's chaotic because you have allowed it to be. You have no map. You have no battle plan. You are a ship with no rudder in a hurricane, tossed about by every whim, every notification, every hollow desire, every ping from the digital opium den you carry in your pocket. Victory doesn't belong to those with more time. It belongs to those who fill each second with savage intentionality. It belongs to those whose direction is so clear, so unyielding, that every minute is accounted for and weaponized. They conduct an audit of their seconds. They ruthlessly cut out the fat, the waste, the parasitic activities that feed on their lifeblood. They build a fortress around their focus. They treat their time not as a river, but as ammunition. Each second is a round fired at a specific target.
What is your target? Or are you just spraying bullets into the darkness, hoping to hit something? Don't blame the clock for your rust. The clock is impartial. It is a metronome counting down to your obsolescence or your ascension. Your lack of direction is the real enemy. It's the void that swallows your hours whole. No excuses, no loopholes, no mercy for wasted minutes. Seize your 24 and bend them to your will. This fog you live in, this haze of inaction, you call it a lack of motivation. You wait for a feeling. You wait for the right mood to strike. You wait for some bolt of lightning from the heavens to finally jolt you into action. You treat motivation like a fickle muse that may or may not visit you today. That's another crutch. Many people think they lack motivation when what they really lack is clarity. Motivation is a spark in a hurricane. It's a fleeting chemical reaction. It's an emotion, and emotions are the territory of the weak. They are traitors. They will abandon you at the first sign of real resistance, of real pain. You cannot build an empire on the back of a feeling. What you need is clarity. Cold, hard, crystalline clarity. The kind of clarity that burns through the fog of your feelings like a searchlight. You need to know, not feel, not hope, not wish, but know with every cell in your being what you are doing and why you are doing it. You need a target so precisely defined that you can see it when you close your eyes. The exact number, the specific skill, the detailed outcome.
Where are you going? Point it to it on the map. What are you building? Show the blueprints. Who are you becoming? Describe that person in excruciating detail. Without that laser point clarity, your energy is scattered. It's a shotgun blast, not a sniper round. You'll wander through your days in a state of semi-conscious stupor, a zombie who has forgotten its mission, bumping into walls and reacting to whatever stimulus the world throws at you. Clarity is what allows you to say no to the 1,000 things that don't matter. Clarity is what pulls you out of bed when the warmth of the sheets feels like a siren song. Clarity is the antidote to hesitation. It eliminates decision fatigue because the decision has already been made. The path is set. All that remains is to walk it. So stop searching for the feeling of motivation. It's a ghost, a phantom. Start the ruthless analytical work of defining your objective. Get clear, so clear that the next step is not a question of inspiration, but of simple, non-negotiable execution. Now, how does the machine of weakness get built? How do these cycles of defeat begin? It's not some grand conspiracy. It's simpler and far more sinister. Every habit is initiated by a cue. Your world, your environment, the digital and physical spaces you inhabit, they are not neutral. They are a battlefield,
littered with tripwires and triggers. Some of those triggers detonate grenades of distraction, comfort, and escape. Others are linked to explosives of focus, discipline, and power. The buzz of your phone, that's a cue. The sight of the couch after a long day, that's a cue. The smell of garbage food, the notification icon, the time of day, the people you surround yourself with. Each one is a silent command, a subconscious whisper telling you what to do next. Be weak, be distracted, escape.
Right now, you are a puppet and your environment is pulling the strings. You have been fighting a war without ever scouting the terrain. You wander into ambushes daily and wonder why you keep losing. Take control. Become the architect of your own cues. Go on a search and destroy mission. Identify every trigger in your life that leads to a behavior you despise. Find them and neutralize them. The phone that distracts you, put it in another room. The junk food in the cupboard, it's poison. Treat it as such and get it out of your house. The shortcut on your desktop to a mindless distraction, delete it. Disarm the landmines of weakness. Then you rig the battlefield in your favor. You want to work out in the morning? Lay out your clothes the night before. That is a visual cue that screams the time for battle is near. You want to read more? Put a book on your pillow. You want to drink more water? Put a giant bottle on your desk. Prime your environment for victory. Make the path to your desired habits frictionless, and make the path to your destructive habits a goddamn obstacle course. This isn't a game of willpower, it's a game of strategy. Stop trying to win a fist fight against your urges in an environment designed to make you fail. Redesign the battlefield, rig the game, win before the fight even begins. You get it. You're ready. You're going to build the perfect, most optimized, elite-level habit starting tomorrow morning. And by noon, you'll have failed. Why? Because you tried to build a skyscraper starting with the penthouse. A habit must be established before it can be improved. Your ambition is trying to write checks that your current system cannot cash. You want perfection on day one. You want to go from zero to a Navy SEAL overnight. That desire for instant transformation is a vanity that will guarantee your failure. It will only deliver you a gut punch of frustration, which will lead you right back to the comforting arms of quitting. First, you must plant the flag. First, you must simply show up. The initial phase of habit building is not about performance. It's not about quality. It is purely about consistency. It is about proving to your weak-willed mind that this new behavior is non-negotiable. Your goal is not to run a marathon on the first day. Your goal is to put on your running shoes and step out the door. That's it. Win that small, pathetic-looking war first. You want to write a book? Your goal is not to write a perfect chapter. Your goal is to open the document and write one sentence. You want to meditate for an hour? Your goal is to sit in silence for 60 seconds. Plant the flag of routine. Claim that small piece of territory. Show up no matter how tired, no matter how uninspired, no matter how pathetic the effort feels. Make the action automatic. Make showing up the part you no longer even think about. Once that territory is yours, once the routine is an unbreakable law, then you begin the work of refinement. Then you storm the fortress of improvement. Then you add another sentence. Then you add another minute. Then you run another block. You establish the root, and then you force the growth. Stop chasing perfection. Start by mastering the art of showing up. What is the endpoint? What is the final form of this transformation? Is it just a collection of good habits? No, that's still too shallow. That's still just about what you do. The ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes part of your identity. This is the Holy Grail. This is the state of being where the war is over, not because you won, but because you have become the war itself. It is no longer about what you do, it is about who you are.
You don't just go for a run, you are a runner. The identity of runner dictates the behavior. A runner runs even in the rain. You don't try to eat healthy. You are a disciplined person. A disciplined person doesn't poison their own body. The choice is already made. You don't make yourself work hard. You are relentless. Being relentless is not an action you choose. It is a fundamental trait of your existence. When your habits are fused to your identity, the internal debate ceases to exist. Quitting is no longer an option on the table. To skip the workout, to eat the junk, to sleep in, it would not just be breaking a rule. It would be an act of self-betrayal. It would feel like tearing off a piece of your own skin. It creates a powerful, positive feedback loop. Every time you perform the action, you are casting a vote for that identity. You are reinforcing the reality of who you are. This isn't about faking it until you make it. This is about being it until you become it. Decide who you want to be, not what you want to have or what you want to achieve. Who? What is the identity of the person capable of achieving everything you desire? And then you begin to prove that identity to yourself with small, undeniable wins every single day. Let your actions seep so deep into the marrow of your bones that they redefine your very essence. Become the person who has no other choice but to dominate, because it is simply who you are. None of this is free. There is a price of admission to this kingdom, and it is a currency that terrifies the modern world. The currency is pain. The process of change is often more painful than the actual change you seek. Let that sink into your bones. The battlefield is not the finish line. The true war is fought in the forge. It is the agonizing process of being broken down and recast. You will bleed long before you ever emerge as a weapon. You will suffer in the crucible of your own discipline long before you ever taste the glory of your new form. That agony, the screaming muscles, the tired mind, the profound longing for comfort and ease, that is not a signal to stop. That is the proof that transformation is occurring. That is the sound of your weakness dying. That is the iron of your will being sharpened against the stone of resistance. Every moment of pain you deliberately endure is a deposit into the bank account of your mental toughness. If you flinch at the heat of the forge, you will never hold the blade. You will remain soft, malleable, unformed. You must learn to love the pain. You must learn to lean into the suffering. You must reinterpret it not as a punishment, but as a privilege. It is the sculptor's chisel carving away the marble of your mediocrity to reveal the masterpiece underneath. The process hurts more than the result feels good. Why? Because the process is what makes you worthy of the result. It's what ensures you can handle the weight of the crown once you finally earn it. So look in the mirror. Look past the face you see every day. Behind it is a choice. On one side, the suffocating comfort of the average, the predictable, the quiet decay of an unlived life. On the other, the fire, the forge, the agonizing, beautiful, terrible process of becoming. The 24 hours are ticking. Your lack of clarity is your enemy. Your environment is a battlefield you have not yet conquered. Your identity is unwritten. The pain is waiting. It is the price. It is the path. Stop waiting for a sign. Stop asking for permission. Stop negotiating with the weakness inside you. It's time to choose a side. Build the machine. Feed the fire. Become the storm.